Hello YouTube fans, here again. And why not, as I'm talking about the Friday the 13 movies. Friday the 13 part 2. This one, I actually don't mind it. It's also a good one. It's the first time we see Jason. This is Jason that does with a bag on his head. And if anyone ever remembers the film, well, I reviewed, come out mid-70s, with Jason with a bag on, well, not Jason with a bag on, but I say a psychopath with a bag on his head. I'm not making this up. A psychopath with a bag on his head, and it was based on a true story. Believe it or not, that would be the Jagged Sundown. Well, you could say when they did this, it was inspired by that look. Now, there's only one bit, and I'm going to say it, where I've got to admit I don't like, and that would be the opening of Friday the 13th Part 2. There's a bit where you got Alice, I don't read the word who the fuck is Alice, played by Adrian King, and she's having a nightmare. It's always memory lane, meaning flashbacks of the original. Then you've got to think there's going to be like a typical psycho scene because she's having a shower. And when you get excited with boys, she's feeling jest. And then she's going into the fits. Next thing you know, she sees Jason's mummy's head and she gets an ice pick in the head. We don't want to get to that in a minute. And she gets killed. Now I'm going to get to the history of why they did that. As we know, I remember saying this, Adrian King as Alice did not, I say it again, did not want to be typecasted in real life. She had a stalker who was stalking her when she was doing the original, and it put her off acting. So when they did the second one, this is how I did the kill. She wanted to get killed off. But to me, why have her in it? Why have her in it? Because she never gets mentioned. She gets mentioned in conversation that she went missing. But you could just put a story in that she's made up with her family, she's with her family, and she's getting on with her life. Did you really have to kill her off in such a shitty way? But as I was going to get to that, the ice pick in the head was slimly trimmed down. There was actually an uncut one where you definitely see it. There's a lot more kills in it. There's a bed scene with boy and girl, which there was a killing scene there, which funny enough was copied, believe it or not, by the film Bay of Blood. And the director that did this said, no, he never ever saw Bay of Blood. If you've never seen Bay of Blood, there's a similar murder scene in it. Well, that scene where the couple were doing it in the bed and the spear goes in and was a lot more graphic, it was a lot more gorier. There was a lot more kills and a lot more meat to the bone. But sad there, because of the MPA, we're never going to see it. You can only ever see it on a work pin with bits and bobs of a work pin, which if you go on YouTube and type in Friday the 13th, Part 2, Uncut Kills, you will see everything what I'm on about. And it's the same. I mean, the picture's deteriorated, but it's the same because some of them kills would have had a bit more meat to the bone. I do know John Safini didn't do this one because at the same year he was doing a film called The Prowler or Rosemary's Killer, had two different cycles, as well as doing my favourite slasher film, that being The Burning. It's always found funny that The Burning has a tamp story in it, and this has a tamp story, and it has a similar scene in it. But you could also say that with the Prowler, the certain bits in the Prowler, what is also used in this. It's one day around the world, I will talk about them two films again, because they were two of my favourite slasher films. And when you think about it, 1981 was a popular year for slasher films. It was a popular year for slasher films. You know, you had Friday the 13th, Part 2, you had The Prowler, you had The Burning, you had loads and loads of slasher films. So this was definitely an highlight. The only bit in, like I say, I think Patsy Palmer did make a comeback in a scene where Jason has flashbacks. That's nearly at the end. She didn't really like the idea of bringing back Jason. She thought it was silly. She thought it was stupid. So certain producers didn't have anything like the original producer that did Last House. Didn't want anything to do with this one. He felt it was silly. It was stupid. But I didn't mind it. I thought it made an icon being Jason Voorhees. And we do get Amy Steele as the final girl in this. So that's another highlight. I do actually like her. I remember her in the film April Fools, one of my favourite films, April Fool's Day. So I do like her. I mean, and she's got a boy called Paul, which I'm going to get to. So you've got a lad, he's in a wheelchair, not being horrible, he's paralysed. You've got your typical teeny poppers, you've got the girl I mentioned, like, nice to look at, with a boyfriend. And it's kind of similar to what they did in that. You think they're going to be the main characters. Lo and behold, they're doing it in bed, spear in the back. The death scene, I just wish, I fucking wish it was uncut. I saw it uncut, that scene. Footage of it, I remember? YouTube. And I just wish they kept it in the film, because that would have been, even though a lot of people... What happened was, your typical MPA saw that scene, they didn't like it, they tried a test audience, and for the time, people thought it was too shocking, and so on. So they timmed it down. But if you ever see the scene with the spear in the back, a lot more better uncut. A lot more better, a lot more meat to the bone. And there's a lot of good death scenes and kill scenes in this. I fucking wish the MPA left it alone. But there you go. With most of the Friday the 13s, the MPA raped them. They fucking raped them. When you get to number 7, and as you know, the 7th Friday the 13th would be the most epic cut one ever. Even the director said, may rest, the director, that they raped his film. And he's right, they did rape his film. So the MPA are the worst for cutting most of the Friday the 13th out. But saying that, I still like this one. Like I say, you get Jason, makes his first appearance. The bag on his head, some people laugh at it, but I didn't mind it. I felt it was cheaper. It reminded me of the film, The Dreaded Suntown Killer. I didn't mind it for what it was. So now we get to Paul. So you've got the scene, he's attacking Asian King. Paul comes in, he fights with him, and so on. I love the bit where Asian King, Amy Steele, pretends to be Jason's mum. That's the bit where Patsy Palmer makes a small test appearance. He sees it's the head of Jason's mum, tries to kill her, he cuts her a bit. Paul fights for him, as I was about to say, and she gets a big dock-off sword and slams him on the neck. They walk off, you think the dog's got killed, but it hadn't, and then you get your typical jump scare. Now, this has a lot of history because there were 2 actors that played Jason. One actor's all the way through. The one at the end where you get the fulfillment of off the mast, he looks badly deformed. That's not a nice word, but he is. Jason jumps out the window, because they thought the jump scare in number 1 worked. They did it in this one, which that scene was a different man. But a very funny story, this. Very funny story. The man over, when he got soul offence and movie offence and so on, this man over the years claimed that he played Jason all the way through in this. That was not the case. Rewind back what I said. So this other guy who was playing Jason all the way through, the one with the bag on his head, said, Who are you? Who are you to play? You played Jason. You jumped out of the window once, nearly at the end." So it was like a funny story. But the bit with Paul, you never knew whether he died or lived, because he's getting rushed to hospital, being Amy Steele. And he's saying, Where's Paul? Where's Paul? And you never did know what happened to Paul. You never know what happens to Paul. Did he die? Did he live? Was it all a dream? But you find out more about that when I get to that. But that is Halloween. That is Friday the 13th part 2, I meant to say. I will give it a 3-star rating. Friday the 13th part 2. And I'll get to the others as soon as I can. Be smart. Be safe. See you later.